In the terminology of alchemy, salt is the negative aspect, sulfur is the positive aspect, and mercury is the neutral. So now we've got the law of three, and you've heard of this positive, negative, neutral. Right? We've had lessons on this before, positive, negative, neutral. Yeah. So what's positive?
Sulfur.
Yes. Sulfur. And what's negative?
Salt.
Mm-hmm. And neutral?
Water.
Mercury.
Okay. Now, how do these correspond to the aspects of you? What I mean by that is from the standpoint of your body, your spirit, and your soul. It's interesting, isn't it? Right? From the standpoint of we go around all the time saying, I did this, I went for a walk, I went to the store, I love you, I, right? But then when you talk about your body, you say, oh, my hip aches, Right? You talk about your body from the standpoint of an ownership. And you do that with soul and spirit too, don't you? Right? My soul leaves my body at death. Yeah, you'll say it, right? My spirit left my body. Yeah, or the spirit that dwells within me. You see, it's always this kind of external thing. I'm taking a bit of a tangent here because it does relate to the work, obviously, doesn't it? Yeah. Somehow we know that those aren't us, but we have this assumption that something is us. What's that ingredient? You'll be able to answer that, by the way, soon. Mercury. Do you want a bit of a hint here? Mercury is the spirit in you. Representative. I should say the representative of Mercury in you is your spirit. It's the neutralizer between your soul and your body. If you take this whole idea of the cosmic triangle here, you can get to a lot of work in there. Now, the mercury in an alchemical experiment is alcohol, ethanol, I should say. If you're talking about the plant world, I love this work, right? Let me ask you a question. Had I, instead of just sugar water, used grapes, would I get something different in the mercury aspect?
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't. You still get ethanol. Ethanol is ethanol is ethanol. Whether you make it with potatoes, whether you make it with wheat, whether you make it just with sugar water, sugar cane, that sort of thing, it's always going to be ethanol. But the point is this, is that the spirit of every plant, its mercury, is the same for every plant. When you make ethanol, when you make alcohol from plant-based materials, it's the same ethanol in sugar as it is in corn, as it is in a potato, and so on and so forth. Now, what does that tell you about the human spirit? This will give you I'm teaching you how to work, not what to think, teaching you how to work in this regard, okay? What does that tell you about the human spirit?
Would it be the same for everyone?
Yes, Hannah. Now we get to the soul, all right? The soul is what's different. If we could, and let's not do this, right? Because I'm not ready to go just yet, but if we could distill ourselves into spirit, soul, and body, your spirit, my spirit would be indistinguishable, but my soul and your soul would be very distinguishable. The soul in something is its oils. The sulfur. Fuck, I gave it away. The sulfur, okay? Doing your work for you. The sulfur is in the plant kingdom would be like the essential oils. If I distill out oregano oil, It's going to be different than basil. It's going to be different than rosemary. It's going to be different than anything else. This is where the differences come in, right? And this is why you can come to the idea, for example, that the sun is where the spirit comes from because it shines the same for everybody, whereas the soul is a coding from the position of the planets at the time of your conception plus the time of your first inhale. It's what taints you as oregano versus mint